listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, and streaming live on Ustream, this is AfterBuzz TV for Survivor. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest Survivor news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, picking up where the show leaves off and the buzz continues, it's AfterBuzz TV for Survivor.
Welcome, welcome. We are surviving yet again, and this episode is called Survivalism. I guess clever title. Nonetheless, another exciting episode. I am joined today by Michelle Macedo. Unfortunately, I had a meeting that ran late, and so the steamer couldn't join me. And also, because of that, Rob Zabachnik could not join me. But I'm glad to have you, Michelle.
Thank you.
And DJ Jesse Jandy over there in the booth. He did not see the episode, but he may, feel free to comment.
What up?
And there you go. So, as always, let's start with the Redemption Challenge. This week, Stacy and Christine, formerly of Coach's team, or as Stacy adamantly wants to make sure that it's stated, Ben, because that is his given name.
Benjamin.
Now, question. When you get a nickname, it's a nickname. Like, that's just who you become. Just because you were given a certain name doesn't mean you have to be called by... Like, what is this statement she's trying to make?
That's the only power that she has. So, obviously, she's trying to take the title away from him, like Coach means he's above something. She's trying to tear him down.
She is indeed, but again, the nitpick of Coach versus Ben, I don't think she's not presenting it in the best light. She's making a poor argument for it.
Well,
and
she just wants to piss him off.
She does, but my problem is that he's not even there. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And to a degree, it's going to get back to him. I was actually surprised. We'll kind of get more into this, how it actually more affected Ozzy's team rather than really Coach's team, because they took that information back and ran with it. But nonetheless, it was Stacy versus Christine. Now, who did you think was initially who were you rooting for?
Stacy versus Christine?
Yes.
I think Stacy needs to go home and take a vacation. I think that all of this stuff has stressed her out a lot, and she will make enemies. She's already burned a lot of bridges.
Here's the thing, though. I could see where Stacy's coming from, because she totally, she did the best she could. I mean, she held a lot of weight.
I could see where she's coming from.
Watch the last episode, and, she did her part, and then she was voted off. Okay, excuse me? And who? You guys chose 3 people to do this. Did anyone else do anything?
Yeah, and
No?
she called people on their shiznit.
And so I don't think it was very smart to vote her off. But at the same time, I do like Christine, because, she's very, very mad with Coach. We know that. However, she's been very quiet about it, and she's, I hope she's not internalizing it to the point where she's going to explode eventually. But she's obviously dealing with it in a great way. This is now the second challenge that she's won. So for I believe the Redemption Challenge.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She's stayed on. Yeah.
So she's been almost voted off. People have been trying to vote her off.
Oh, she was voted off. Yeah, but you we know Michelle's half a newbie, so forgive her. But yes, you get voted off, and then you get sent to Redemption Island, and from then on, you have to keep winning the challenges in order to stay in the game, and she has obviously done so. She's won every challenge that she's been involved in terms of redemption point. Now, how would you rate this this challenge, if you will? I mean, it's catching balls, making sure ball doesn't drop.
Oh, I was kind of confused. It reminded me of, in doctors' offices or dentists or whatever, there's a thing for kids that you put balls into.
Like a fun toy.
Like, no, like a big like maze thing, like, and you put a ball in, and it's like exactly what that was.
Yes, but I would even argue that the child's thing, it's kind of more engaging, whereas this the child's thing, it didn't have enough to go along with it. To a degree.
Not like, first of all, it wasn't pretty colors. Second of all, you knew where it was gonna go. The child's thing, when I was a kid, I guess it was always a mystery where the ball would go.
Exactly, and you know what? I like how Albert really called out Stacey, like, I didn't realize this, maybe because I was writing notes, but they apparently had 10 seconds in between, you take a ball, and before you have to drop it, you had 10 seconds. And Stacey, not smart strategy. And this is why I really like Christine. I'm really rooting for her because she did nothing to really make Coach mad. She was just kind of voted off for no apparent reason, and I feel, she would have been a strong competitor. And I feel she will find her way into the merger somehow. And Stacey, she, as you said, she was hot-headed, and that's what cost her the challenge of, for the redemption.
Yes, it's the impulsive behavior, temper.
It certainly is. But I do like how I always love our guy when he hosts. You know what I mean? I think he's an amazing announcer.
Oh yeah,
and
the guy that was fighting with her.
No. I'm speaking about Jeff. Jeff, the actual host of Survivor.
Okay. Yeah.
No, because as kind of without his commentary, I thought it was a fun challenge. Again, a lot of these challenges are very fun if you're there, but watching it on TV, they might not be as fun. But I always like he has such a colorful and original commentary that I just enjoy it purely.
Yeah, he's really funny. And she was getting on his nerves because I remember it was either her or Cochran that he kind of like lashed back with some dude. So
there you go. So then, before they get to the challenge, we kind of go through the camps and just kind of check in and see what's going on. And I like how the redemption challenge really affected Ozzy's team in a greater way, more so than Coach's. And new alliances are kind of being formed. Elisa's kind of joking about how she's got her alliance with, Jim, Ozzy, Keith, herself, and Whitney. And, everyone starting to pick up on the fact that, nah, you and Ozzy are just lazy.
Yeah.
And you really don't deserve an alliance.
And you're talking to Ozzy and Elise?
Now, do you think they're honestly that Elise and Ozzy are sleeping together?
Yeah.
But here's my question though. You weren't here when I spoke with Rob, but he said like a lot of his friends asked him when he came back, like, did you ever think about hooking up? Did you ever, have to masturbate? Like, what was your sexual urge like? And he said, honestly, the 18 days that I was there, I was literally trying to survive and sleep. And, you don't have time to think about your... you're so preoccupied in your needs in terms of how you're going to feed yourself, clothe, sleep,
be
whatever
under
shelter.
That pressure, yeah.
That you're,
I believe
getting
that.
laid is a luxury. And it's the least of your
It
worries.
should already be a luxury.
Apparently not to Ozzy outside of, I don't know. I'm just making an
first
assumption.
of all, right. First of all, I think that it's true. That must be true that you would be under a lot of pressure and probably not able to, in a lot of ways, do that. So for Rob, like, I totally get that. But Ozzy and Elise, they just lay next to each other all day and massage each other and flirt and touch each other. And usually, okay, it could be that there is tension, sexual tension, but that no one's doing anything about it, which does happen. It becomes so obvious and everyone's just like, just do it already. Mm-hmm. But I think that it's already happened because it's been too long now. I think definitely.
Okay. All
but
right.
she's way more into it than he is.
So what? He's just kind of using it, knowing that he's got her, and like, what advantage does she bring to him?
Meaning, what do you mean? Like strategy wise?
Yeah.
Or why he likes her? I guess that's how you think of people that you date. What advantage do you bring to me?
No, especially in a show like Survivor, this relationship may be too emotional.
Oh.
No, I'm saying, because guess what? How many times do you see in, TV shows, the big kind of message is when you err on the side of emotion, that's when you get caught.
Yeah.
Or, something goes
wrong.
wrong.
Yeah, definitely.
And that obviously comes back to haunt him. And we'll talk about that more in
that
predictions.
always comes back to haunt you, definitely.
Yes.
Like in acting class, never date anyone in your acting class.
Mm-hmm. But what did you think of Jim's strategies, figuring out that that Ozzy wants the strongest players gone, and really using that to his advantage to get Elise out? He had this whole plan since that information came back to him, and obviously it paid off.
That Ozzy wants Elise out?
No. That Ozzy wants the strong players out, and so as much as Keith was in alliance with Ozzy, we don't know this, but Jim used obviously the tactic that Ozzy was going to get Keith out.
Mm.
No thoughts?
Oh.
Or was that just that is interesting?
That is interesting.
Okay. All right. So that is interesting. And then, all right. What was also interesting to me, first I got to say, you know what? I love seeing Brandon Hantz now loud and proud, because before he wouldn't take off his shirt, and now he's just
That was a
sporting
nice
everything.
shot.
Yes, it was. And it was a very quick shot. It's just something that I noted, nothing to really discuss more there. But it's interesting, the big three, I'll call them. Coach, Albert, and Stephanie, I believe her name is. That kind of alliance. And where
what's her occupation?
I forget.
There's
so many fun ones that, like, hers is kind of the more mundane ones that I
Is she
don't
the country music singer?
No.
What does she look like?
No. This is Coach's team. Come on. No, there's on Coach's team. There's Michaela, and there's
I get confused between the teams. And
okay,
who's
there's
on what?
There's Coach's team and there's Ozzy's team. Come on now.
Yeah, but they're all like talking trash about each other.
Yeah, well, that's because as they should, and I love it. Because they're not trying to survive; they're trying to dick each other over. Anyway,
exactly.
What was really confusing. So Albert finds the clue for the hidden immunity, and then he searches for it, can't find it, so he tells Coach and his other girl, and then eventually Ozzy finds the hidden immunity. And for me, it was just, okay, what advantage did that get you, Albert? I know you kept your alliance with Ozzy, or not Ozzy, sorry, Coach, but that means you're kind of on the chopping block, or could have been potentially if, they lost the challenge. So what did you have to gain?
What did Ozzy have to gain?
No, what did Albert?
Which one's Albert?
Oh my God, I've confused with the names. I've confused you with the names.
Yeah.
I'm gonna draw you a pie chart. Well, anyway, I just felt it was.
What do you think? Yeah, tell.
Well, I don't know. I get it paid off. I'm glad it paid off for Albert, because I actually kind of like Albert to a degree. But I just felt he could have. I don't even know why he should have necessarily. I always hate it when people go off and try to find the idols, because it's just a sleazy move.
The idols.
It gains not idols. The immunity.
Oh, immunity. Oh, okay. I know who you're talking
Because
about.
then again, it's been said by many of the contenders in this season, I'm sure seasons past, that it's a declaration of you're out for yourself.
Oh, you're saying what advantage did he have by creating that alliance with the immunity thing?
No, by telling his rest of his team.
Yeah. But he just told two people, right?
Yeah.
So.
And then Coach is the one who actually, has it now.
Yeah. The advantage of that is that they believe that he trusts them. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much it. But now Coach has the thing.
Yeah, but whatever. All right. So let's talk about the most awesome challenge yet. Michelle, you saw the premise of what this challenge was, but then as soon as it started, you turned away and did not see anything.
Yeah.
And for me, I liked, you were like, how could someone think of this as in an office and make it a challenge?
So far away from that island, so far away from that meat.
Well, for me, it's a very sadistic.
Exactly. It's funny.
It's a sadistic challenge, and that's why I like it. Because, okay, you guys are obviously hungry. So here's all the meat you can eat. Or here's all the meat you'd want to eat, but you can't.
Exactly. And also, next season, they should have someone whose occupation is the guy that makes up these really shitty challenges.
No, they're not shitty. I think for me,
they're
like
shitty for them.
Well, that's the fun part.
Well, right, but that's what I'm saying. Who it's shitty for? Because it's like, here's meat. You can't eat it. You really want to.
And you know what? It was interesting, kind of listening to Jeff commentate this. Initially, at first you can only grab small pieces, but then as you got deeper and deeper to the center or whatever, the core, or the spine, whatever you want to call it, more and more meat was able to be pulled off. And I was actually interested. What if, because we kind of saw this with Ozzy towards the end, he had a chunk of meat and he was starting to pull the whole thing off.
Oh.
And why not just like grab your team, all kind of grab a piece that stays on instead of trying to bite it off, and just pick up the whole thing and move it into the bucket. It's not gross. It's efficient. Yeah, you would have won because you know what?
Do you think that would have been possible?
I think it would have been possible.
On a thing.
Yeah, but you got to figure out some sort of way with your teeth, obviously, that you can pick this thing up and go. Now here's the thing: had they lost and they had done that, then you know what? The pigs were unequal in weight, and I would have argued, whatever unfairness. But that for me, that's what kind of.
Which is why I think you'd be great at this show. So let's send you off to Fiji or Bali or where did they film?
They film everywhere.
The South Pacific.
Yes, they film everywhere. You know what? I'll pick where the next one films and where I'm gonna be.
Okay.
I do actually want to do it. But I gotta say, in seeing this challenge, I thought a lot of people stepped up to the game. That was kind of the hardest thing, as was pointed out in the tribal council. You can't really blame anyone for the loss. Like, how do you say, "Oh, Michelle, you brought less meat than I did"?
But it's everyone's fault. That's the thing about why it's such a hit when something happens to one of the members of the team. Because if one person lets someone down, then the whole team is let down.
And especially, I felt like everyone was really doing their hardest, especially when you saw people pulling the meat out of each other's teeth. And Michaela,
that was really just,
Michaela stepped it up and she even picked, yes. So
someone dropped it and she picked it up out of the dirt on the ground.
Which, that's dedication.
That's
the type of player Michaela really is. And that's why I don't like Brandon going up against her. Like, listen, dude, she's just here to play.
Yeah.
Just let her do her thing. I know you hate her because she's a temptress and you want to sleep with her, but just shut up. That's what it really comes down to.
Yeah. It's very true.
But anyway, coach's team wins, and Brandon makes an awesome feast.
Yes.
What a joyous feast it was, indeed.
Such a joyous feast.
So why don't we let's jump to the tribal council, because what are your kind of thoughts?
Well, I'll just say, and we will get to this, but right after that, that event and the meat and all that stuff, Cochran mentions how, which is my thought too, what if someone had herpes and now we all have some crazy mouth disease?
Sorry.
It was a joke.
I know. I hate how Keith was like, "Oh, I didn't appreciate it." Well, lighten up. Like, he was
like, "That's disgusting." I think that they're all just like really annoyed with each other.
I think so too. But I like how it kind of paid off for them, for Cochran. Because I know for me, if you guys listen to my early episodes or have already listened to them, I wasn't the biggest fan of Cochran. Neither was Steamer, and I don't know how Steamer feels on this issue. We'll ask him next time we do next week's episode. But Cochran's kind of grown on me.
Yeah, me too. I liked him from the beginning. Ever since he made an entire group, the Pretties, I liked that.
The Pretties and the Uglies?
Yes, I can appreciate his sense of humor.
Yeah, I definitely like him, and so it was. And you know what the weirdest part was now that I think about it, especially with how they voted, how Jeff asked Don, like, does anything that Cochran does annoy you? And why? It's interesting how he made Don answer that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because then she got 2 votes.
That in there, and then instead of it being his fault, obviously he knows how to manipulate it, so everyone turns against each other.
Yeah, so you think he actually was a cause of the votes to go for?
I'm sure it affected.
Mm-hmm.
But that was not nice, and that Cochran like.
But she answered it. She actually answered it in the most sincere
diplomatic
way.
Yeah.
And she said, "Hey, listen. Normally, I wouldn't be friends with a person like this, but that's what this is about: bringing diversity to our lives." And you know what? He's actually a nice guy. So I applaud that.
I like him.
I like him too. So who did you think that that Keith and Whitney were going to vote for? Obviously, that was kind of their big struggle.
I thought they were going to vote for Elise.
You did?
What did you think?
I thought they were going to split it. I don't know. That's why I wanted your opinion, because I really didn't have one. But nonetheless, it obviously, this was the closest vote, and yet at the end they kind of just skimmed over it.
Yeah.
It really felt just like at that point they really had to rush to finish the episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I guess is fine, but this was the closest voting we've ever gotten. Everyone had 2, 2, and 2, and with one more vote to go. But I am glad. I so want, like, Elise, you don't deserve. Dawn has pulled her weight. I mean, the fact that she was the last one standing last challenge, and you know what, Cochran, he's grown. And Elise, what have you really brought to the table? I know everyone's saying Ozzy's lazy, but you know what? At the end of the day, at least he fishes, and I don't know how hard it isn't to actually fish, but Ozzy says it's hard.
It looks hard. He said, like, it might look easy. It looks hard. Okay,
well, fair enough. But at the end of the day, he's at least doing something. Whereas Elise, what do you really bring to the table? Nothing.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of her. Ever since last episode, I really don't like her.
Fair enough. Well, we're glad she's voted off. And with that, why don't we go to a quick commercial break and come back with our predictions.
Want to find out what the AfterBuzz is about?
Janice is a drama queen.
This is the divide that is going to carry the series.
Give us a call. 424-256-1729. 424-256-1729.
It's television, and they want it to be as dramatic as possible.
I mean, it's Shakespearean.
You never know what goes on behind closed doors.
Find out why AfterBuzz TV is the #1 source for after-show content.
Now, in the eyes of Jimmy, Nucky is a villain.
424-256-1729. 424-256-1729.
I mean, who would you guys rather hear that from? Your husband or your best friend?
The wig will come out.
When the TV show is over, get your AfterBuzz on.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the Survivor South Pacific Season 23, Episode 4. You guys, what's up? Okay, so now we have predictions. We saw a little bit of a preview after the show of what's going to happen next week.
You excited for next week?
Yes, I'm so excited for next week. It looks like it's going to be intense.
Well,
what do you
Ozzy
think?
becomes a free agent. I love that.
Oh, yeah, I know, finally.
And you know what? We've been kind of teasing it and wanting to see it. Coach is ready to square off against Brandon. He reminds me of so much of Russell.
Yeah, really.
And
I think everyone at this point is just trying to find reasons to hate each other.
Let's see. This would be they're about just over 20 days into it. I think I'll do the math on it later, but so they're pretty deep into it. And from what Rob, Zabachnik told us, it does get intense, and you do get hungry and things like that. And we've seen Coach. I like how we've already seen Coach kind of snap at Brandon and say, "Stop it." And I really am looking forward to something huge happening. And so yeah, that's.
I don't like Coach.
I actually kind of like Coach.
You like Coach because he's called a coach, and
no, that's not why. He's just a cool dude. Who do you think's gonna win the redemption challenge? Elise or Christine? You gotta pick
I
Christine.
think Christine. Yeah,
you gotta pick Christine. All right. Well, with that is all we kind of have for Survivor South Pacific this episode. Thank you, DJ Jesse Janity. Thank you, listeners and viewers, and of course, thank you, Michelle.
Thanks, Phil.
Thank you. So yes, of course, as always, we will be back next week. And the theme of our show has always been "We're surviving." So we hope you're surviving wherever you are as well.
I'm sure
and you know what?
are.
How fun would it be if we just got all the fans and did a Survivor of our own?
Yes.
Kind of like a fun getaway weekend thing. I don't know.
Put a tent up and
I'm not actually.
somewhere.
Yeah, it's probably not going to happen. Don't take my word on that. But I'm just saying it would be fun. Anyway, thank you. We'll be back next week.
From producers Kevin Undergaro and Phil Svitek, engineer DJ Jesse Janity, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. If you have questions or comments, be sure to buzz us at info@AfterBuzzTV.com. And you can find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter by searching for AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.